are we working on over there, Caitlin?
Well, you guys, if you saw me in person, I'm very, there's a lot of makeup on me, but on this screen, I look like white
Oh,
still.
You do
you look great.
this is what I do before every YouTube video that I've ever filmed. You do but you look fine. You don't
Ooh.
look white.
What's that
I,
tip, Kallie?
You pinch your cheeks. It's like instant blush.
You
Oh,
how
bruise
about
your
your
face.
forehead?
Gently pinch.
I just
Like
feel
this?
like my
Just like
That,
leg,
Kallie?
on the apples of your cheeks, I give them a pinch. Because I'm the same way. Every time I get on camera, I'm like, wait, don't I have blush on?
But how long does it take for the effects of the pinch to go away? Who knows?
I'm sure it's in my head, but it makes me feel better.
did you
Everyone's
guys ever see
probably-
that thing where you'd stick your lips in the bottle
Yeah.
to like
No.
pucker?
I
Yeah.
remember when people did that.
Oh my God.
So
Callie, I keep
stupid.
picturing some like subreddit about your feed where people are like, Callie must be so nervous when she starts each YouTube video. Like her cheeks are so flushed in the first minute. And then
I'm sure somebody has something to say
That
about
is
it somewhere.
funny.
Yeah.
Welcome to Just for Moms. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Megan.
And I'm Kallie. We are regular moms
Talking about regular stuff
like aging, parenthood,
work-life balance,
and figuring out what's for dinner. Again.
A no judgment zone to talk, laugh,
And maybe cry about all the things women think about on a daily basis.
Well, welcome back, listeners. This is episode 22 of the Just for Moms podcast. I have Kallie, Charlotte, Megan, and my name is Caitlin. And here we are. It is the magical time of year that school is out. Sunscreen is in every crevice of your body and your car.
Mm.
And I don't know about you, but your kids are someone is always asking for a snack. I mean, is that how it is for you?
So
Just
many
me.
snacks. I had to explain to my 4-year-old what bored eating is because I'm like, this is what you're doing. That's not how you eat.
Did you describe what intentional eating is?
Just a little. I was like, you're not actually hungry. You're just eating because you feel bored. But if you just waited until normal, I don't know if it got through, but I'm just trying to explain to like, she'll be like sitting there and she'll be like, I'm hungry. And I'm like, you're not, you're just bored. And I get it because I do it. I do it too.
my kids have graduated to the ask for forgiveness, not permission stage of snacking. And so the only way I know what they've been stealing is A, if it's gone from the pantry, and B, if they happen, when I go to their room and notice, like, oh, that's where
There's
the
Ritz.
Yeah.
the Ritz
Oh,
cracker.
yeah.
The Ritz crackers. I don't care how many times they say you're not allowed to eat in your bedroom. And then I come in and I find some remnants of some kind of snack.
We don't eat upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to
Or
say it?
the other day, someone, I'll not name who, because I know we don't do that on this podcast. There was a huge bag from Costco of popcorn, a big bag, okay? Someone was probably eating it. It was dinner time and wasn't supposed to be. And then I was like, come for dinner. And someone left it behind pillows, okay? And then I found it and I was like, screamed down everyone's name. Everyone came down, kind of. And I was like, who did this? And how long has this been back here? And it had been back there for a week. So, of course, I threw it out. But it's like, you just wasted a nice, huge Costco bag of like popcorn that like would have lasted like,
Weeks.
I have a follow-up question. What cushion is this behind that a giant Costco bag of popcorn went unnoticed?
So the pillows in the living room, like the corner pillows.
Oh.
in
and
the fancy living room.
We just have one basic living room, and I feel like it's a pillow overload. I probably should get rid of some of them, and the pillow overload hid the popcorn. So yeah,
I feel like it's one of those, like, have you ever seen the pictures with stuffed animals, but there's like actually a dog in it? It was just like
E.T.
pillow popcorn bag, but it just matched with the pillows.
Exactly.
I love that. Well, I spent the morning vacuuming up tiny beads and sparkles from this overpriced slime kit that I got my daughter because we've already started. If you listen to our last episode, my middle child has a birthday for 3 months. It's all of summer, and we already had to start celebrating. So it started making me think about all of the like toy choices I have regretted, all the toys that I have regretted purchasing for my children, whether it's an indoor or outdoor toy. it maybe ends up in the trash after the first time we used it. So can you guys think of a toy purchase that you regret?
Yeah.
All of them.
I want to hear it.
So I've gotten better, but you know the toys that you know are going to be great fun, but the only way to put them away are if they are in exactly the same placement. Like I'm looking at you Jenga blocks. Like the only way they can go back in the box is if they are expertly placed. Like so those I'm never going to get those again. I feel like we've explored all of the various like hover type crafts, like the little balls. Like there's a whole like category of toys and they're I don't know, they're $10-15, so they're sort of an obvious choice for a birthday or something, but the minute they hit something wrong, they ding and dent like little drones. Those, just say no to them. And then the last one I will keep doing, but I've learned to set my parameters in advance. You know those water balloons where you blow up like 100 at one time?
Mm-hmm.
They're amazingly fun and they're great for a party, but you have to set the like every one of these little pieces of rubber has to be picked up, or latex, sorry, has to be picked up before, like that's part of the deal. If you want to play with these, you have to pick up all the balloons. So those are the three that come to mind right off
Kallie?
the bat.
Mine's like anything with lots of little pieces. I mean, you have to also remember my kids are all 6 and under, so like those things are not this is not like my child's getting a Lego kit and like building the Lego. So like just anything. I almost don't even take them out anymore. Like if they're gifted to us, I stick them away for like a rainy day. Never,
Never.
just like a never.
Yeah.
So like any little like I'm trying to think of an example, like a little
Like Marble
stable with
Run.
or like a stable with a little horse and it has the little brush in the little water trough and the little fake carrots. I'm like, no. Mm-mm.
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 Megan,
No,
what about
my 4-year-old has one doll house set and like it's like a set comes with like it's a brand, like the brand has, and we have just the bag and that's it. No other things.
Okay, one thing that comes to mind for me is that Connect sand. Okay.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
And it does not connect. It does not stay together. It's a
No.
huge mess.
Mhm.
How it usually comes out, if we can't go outside and play with it, I put it in like a cookie sheet. I
Even
mean,
still.
even
Yeah.
still,
Mm-mm.
it's like sand on the counter, sand on the floor. And I'll never forget this. We had a neighbor come over, right? And I have like a craft bin of like in a shelf in the basement with all crafts and inside more bins and this and that, and try to be organized. It's not. So I said to the girls, why don't you go check out the craft bin, see if there's something in the craft bin you want to play with, right? Okay. The neighbor brought up the Connect sand.
Mm-mm.
Now, if it was one of my kids, I would have been, we're not playing with that today. But it's the neighbor. I don't know why I felt bad. I mean, then when she came over and played with us, this was like a huge mess. Because then you got to sit there with the wipes and clean, and then she
No.
got it on like my chair, my stools, and then you're in there because it does not stay connected. So
No, and they're doing like this
yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, yeah.
yeah. And then when
Well,
she
it
left,
does connect. It connects with the carpet. It connects with everything but the
yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when she left that day, Gianna was like, Mom, you haven't let me play with Connect Sand for like 2 years. I was like, well, it's the neighbor. Like, I felt bad, but I should have said no.
Yeah, look, this is why.
Uh-huh.
I can one I just thought of now, someone reminded me, I don't know how it came to, but water beads.
Oh, I used
Like
to love those.
Yes.
they're
yeah.
so cool in theory, but they just make a ginormous mess.
Outdoor only.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I also found out that children can die if they ingest them, and so I just threw away the entire
I think they're dying when they ingest the small ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
before
I'm
they
not,
get yes, before
yeah,
they
I
get
mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
not to negate it, but
Right.
I think it's the growing. Like I don't think a single
No.
water bead is
No, it's the growing of them.
it's the growing of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, so I just threw that box out. I'm
Yeah.
about to go throw away the gooey slime kit that Eiley got though, because there's tiny little things everywhere and
Oh,
they
yeah.
look like
Oh.
little nerds. Like I
Yeah,
went to eat one. It's not nerds.
Yeah, they put it in it. It's all those like you get like 40 different little compartments of stuff, and then they put it in it, and then it's glitter and pins and yeah.
No, I hate
We're
it.
slime free in this house. I refuse.
Smart.
I'm so jealous. Well, that's a mom fail in itself because I bought it for her. So, anybody have any good mom fails this week?
Mine's sort of silly, but I feel like you had a similar one last episode. Um, my oldest is away at school, as you guys know, and she was meant to go see the orthodontist, I don't know, back in like February or March. So I didn't schedule her appointment when she was home for her long weekend. And they just keep calling. And it's like, I know she's late. I know I need to do it. And her teeth are jacked because she never wears her tray. Like, none of it is good. We've already gone through a whole round of it. And then she forgot to wear her trays. And so now they're crooked and we're doing the trays again. So part of me is like, at this point, it's on you. I don't know. You're old enough to know, like, you have free will. I guess, So I need to schedule that. When we hang up, I'm going to go do that. That and my kids' well visits. I just need to schedule it.
Your doctor doesn't have it like where you leave the well visit from one year and then they say, okay, and here's your next year appointment.
No, I mean, maybe they would. My dentist does that for me, but for the well visits, it's like it would never stick. Like, there's no way that a year from now, that time and that date is going to coordinate with something that's going to work. So it's easier just to call a month before. And
No.
But
I always just take it so that when I see it on the calendar, then I can call and reschedule it. at that time.
Yes.
yeah, they don't even I mean, I've never asked. They don't offer it. It's certainly not protocol for our practice.
Kallie, how about you?
I don't know. I didn't write one down. I mean, God knows there's just 8 million bajillion like fails. So many things that I've missed. I was supposed to pick up something. We got something framed. And like they called me a week and a half ago. I didn't even see the voicemail. That's just where I am in my life. Too many fails to count.
We're like that with the waivers that I need to be turning in. I think at this point, when this airs, school will officially be over. But the last
Yeah.
2 weeks of school, the number of field trips they're going on, one's
Oh my
for
God.
band with their grade.
can't.
And
Ugh.
I feel like I'm on top of it. But then every day I get an email that's like, hey, Mrs. Smith, we need, and it's like,
You
okay,
forgot
another.
whatever. Yeah.
I
The
just-
other day, Michael got back from school and he was like, "Oh, Miles has a field trip today." He's like, "Did you sign the thing?" I'm like, "I guess so."
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just discovered it's the end of the year, 5th grade. How many years? Like, I don't understand how many years I would have been able to do this, but there's an app I could sign the field trip forms.
Oh yeah, I do it in the
Oh.
app too, but still.
We don't have that.
It may be new. We've only recently been able to sign things online with certain
Okay.
schools. I
Yeah.
bet it's something they haven't had.
Or you know what we got the other night, and I was kind of like, we can't like do this. I don't know when would be a good time. A capsule letter I had to write for Nico. He's
Oh,
in
no.
2nd grade. I had to write it last week, and then he gets it when he graduates high school. I'm like, is this
Forget it.
really a good time to do this? So I'm like
Oh, you
up
should have asked us
trying
earlier.
to like put memories in a letter because he's like, Mom, you did it right. You submitted it right. It's due. And I'm like, yeah, I did it. But I like didn't want to be doing it at like 11 o'clock at night because I mean,
Why do they put everything at the end of
I don't know.
school? Our school has a grandparents' day. I'm like, with it right now, with everything else, there's too many things.
No, that letter should hit your inbox like middle of February.
You're
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
Charlotte. The winter time when
Yes.
there's nothing else to do.
Yes.
Well, Megan, aside from failing to do the letter on time, do you have anything else?
Okay. We ran out of bottled water in our house, okay? You would think the world was ending. Okay, mind you, everyone pours it in their Stanleys and in their Yetis and in this and in that.
And you have plumbing, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
the water filter thing too, but it was like, we don't have any bottled water. I'm like, well, I mean, you walk in town, I'm thinking of my teenager, like if you want to grab one at the mobile mart or like, yeah, we ran out, I'll go tomorrow, right? And again, I use the filtered water for my coffee, my drinks, everything. But like they all use like the bottled water because, you know,
That's high
Well,
class.
I
That's
mean,
high
I don't
class
know
right
about
there.
your house. Like again, no one
No.
really drinks from the plastic bottles because you know they say not to. But like, I don't know.
But it's
Like,
still the same thing. They're putting the plastic water bottle in their other water
yeah,
bottle.
well, you know, with like cancer and all that, they say like you're not supposed to drink from the bottled water. Just people, I don't
Oh,
know.
like putting your lips to the plastic?
to the
Oh.
plastic bottled water. I don't
Oh,
know.
Lord.
Never
I
heard
don't
that
know.
as I drink right out of my bottle to Gatorade.
I've had a bottle of water in like the cup holder of my car enough days that it's gotten hot And like at that point, you're like, it's
Oh,
definitely
and
not
you'd
safe.
still drink it.
I
Yeah,
still
I
drink.
drink it.
I'm like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
thirsty. Like it's
Yeah.
just 2 times is not gonna. If
Yeah.
that's what does it, then it was my time. I guess
Listen,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I welcome the feedback from some scientist who has studied the data and understands it. My kid the other day was like, "Oh, we can't eat that though because of," she got like Swedish fish, and she was like, "We
Yeah.
can't eat that though because of red dye, right?" And I was like, "Here's how my brain processes this information. I I am confident that someone has studied red dye and that compared to all the other food additives, I'm confident that it's not like there's something in it that is probably not great." I was
Mhm.
like, "However, the volume of red dye that you would need to ingest, I suspect is not physically possible. And how often do you have Swedish fish?" And she was like, "I don't know, once a month." I was like, If you're eating 2 bites of red dye once a month, twice a month. Like,
Yeah.
I think you just have to, like, right size it all, and I brought up in our previous podcast, we were talking about, like, drinking out of the garden hose. I used that example. I was like, technically, the plastic in garden hoses, like, that probably is a toxic chemical, but you physically can't drink enough water with this
Yeah.
laced garden hose water. You physically, like, you would die of whatever it is, hyperammu when you have too much water in your body.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I want the evidence that putting your face to a plastic water bottle
Yeah.
is gonna give you lip cancer or whatever.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, no, you're right. I feel like, and you know what? Someone sent me a clip too, Charlotte. Like drinking from the bottled water, if you drink like 20 of those a week, it equals to like having a whole plastic bottle in your system. I don't know. There was some corny thing that
There's no
someone,
way.
That
I was,
feels like a
I
lot.
don't know. And
What did your kid do? Did they walk to the mobile mart?
no, they had to use the pitcher and
Oh
the,
god.
I
Oh
know, the
God.
filtered water, which is like what I use all the
Yes.
time.
Oh god.
But they make their drinks and they're this for this and the that. And I don't, the water's just there for pretty much everyone else. I don't really, for me, because I'm thinking in my head how much it costs for all the bottled water. I'm
It's
like,
Too
free,
many.
right?
right.
Too
I
many.
use the pitchered water or like, whatever. I'm fine. And look at
Listen, if
us.
my kids aren't looking, they get faucet water. I'm not even
Mhm.
walking to the fridge to use the filter thing.
Mhm.
Mm.
Nothing wrong with the faucet.
Same.
Thank you. I'm glad I don't feel like that bad anymore. So it's not even a fail. Let's move on.
No.
No. You saved yourself some money.
Yeah. Yeah. Good job. Pat yourself on the back. Well, this week we're talking about the pressure to have the perfect summer. This topic, I feel like a lot of parents can relate to. And maybe while I was researching, a lot of teens, a lot of college students, there's so many different reasons and factors that would make you feel like you need to build up to this perfect summer. And I pulled up some statistics about this, about how many people feel like they can actually relax in the summer. So, younger adults, ages 18 to 34 years old, find summer significantly more enjoyable than their older counterparts, with 35% reporting a much more relaxing experience than others. And then it listed activities that they might do. And I said, oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, what about people in our age bracket? Adults aged 35 to 49 years old, the level of relaxation halves to just 17%, which is likely due to increased work and family responsibilities. And I was like, okay, let's continue with these statistics. Adults aged 50 to 64 find summer much more relaxing at a rate of 22%. Well, yeah, no shit, because they don't have children living at home with them. And then over 64, like 65 and up, they were just living
Loving life.
their lives. So I gave up. I said, there's no statistics over, like I could really read, because I think everyone does feel in some way at some point in their life, I'm having the best summer ever. It's in movies, it's in songs. I mean, I just could vividly remember peeling out of the parking lot my junior year of high school with all my friends and everyone just like screaming and playing music like it's going to be the best. And oftentimes it's not, because what makes a perfect summer? Uh, as parents, I think there is a tremendous amount of pressure to relax and make your summer enjoyable. And it comes from social media. It comes from fear of judgment from other parents. It comes from comparison games, et cetera, et cetera. personally, I promised myself, I want to say it was last summer, that I was just going to look at our calendar, see what we had going on. There were some camps and vacations, and say, that's it. Everything that happens in between all of that is just going to happen. I'm not going to plan anything in advance because it could rain, somebody could get sick, we could decide to go on a day trip. And I found last summer to be much more enjoyable than summers in the past where I was trying to plan something here and there, like everywhere. So I want to hear how you guys approach summer, what you think about the pressure of a perfect summer, and so on. Does anyone want to start? You're all just silent. You're like, no, I don't want to talk about that.
We have never had fancy summers. We've just never had the budget to do. I mean, we've always had a trip. This summer, we don't have anything planned. It's just not in the cards for us. It also coincidentally is the first summer we've sort of entered that phase of parenting where our kids are doing sports all summer, which is we've never had that. And it's for my older kids who like want to be doing this, but it just means that there's weekend commitments with tournaments and my son is on the wanting to do football in high school. And so that, for whatever reason, that starts like the first day of summer. So I think this summer is going to be very low key. We're hopefully going to go. My sister has a place on the beach that we can go. So I think we're going to try to sort of play it by ear and get down to the beach for a little bit. But I I mean, I think it's all about like managing expectations, and summer is always going to be exciting because it's just summer. We definitely try to see friends and entertain, and that might happen on a weeknight. It might happen on a weekend. So we do a little bit more of that in the summer, which is sort of fun for everyone. But I mean, I hear you. I feel the same way about like they only have 8 weeks and I want to give them a special memory. I think what I've learned over the years is that you can do that in a day or in a weekend. And that's something that we can do kind of spur of the moment. Like, I feel like one summer I just took the kids like up to Boston for the night on a Tuesday or something. So I think that is sort of where I'm going to approach it, which is I don't have anything planned right now, but there's certain things that I know will be fun. Maybe we'll go to the city one day. I mean, we live on the beach. We actually don't go to the beach very often, but like going to the beach one night and ordering pizza to the beach, that's something we never do otherwise. So I think that's sort of where I've landed, and we'll see. We'll see. I'll let you know.
I'd be interested to hear what your kids will say, like halfway through the summer, if they're enjoying all their sports and everything, or if they're telling you, why aren't we doing X, Y, and Z? Because mine aren't really, my kids are totally ungrateful. I tell them this all the time because every summer we go on a lot of vacations to see my husband's parents are divorced. So we go with both sets of grandparents somewhere, and then we go with my parents. So my children are having 3 vacations. How could you ever complain you're bored? And they still do. Hopefully as they get older, they, cut it out. But
Yeah, I mean, I feel badly. The one vacation that they really look forward to that we do every year is very mellow. It's quiet. We just go to a lake in New Hampshire, and we couldn't swing it this year. And we told them, they've known. It's not like it's a surprise. So I do feel badly because that is a very sweet and simple vacation that they all really look forward to. But we just can't do it. And I didn't get into details. It just, we said vacation is a big commitment, and
yeah.
we don't have the time, we don't have the finances. So, we'll go back. But so that, again, I have the parenting guilt about that, but these kids are fed and clothed and they're going to have a great summer. So I
Yeah.
try not to get too in the weeds with it all.
And I wasn't,
Yes.
I have to defend myself if anyone listening is like, why would she say that? Her kids are going to complain. It was just more of a like, you said they have all these sports things that they wanted to do. Will they still say that?
Oh,
later?
yeah.
Kallie, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
It's okay. My thoughts about it went off of Charlotte's a little bit because I feel like when I think back, we talked about this a little in our last podcast about birthdays and like thinking back about our birthdays growing up. Like, so when I think back about my childhood growing up, like I don't really remember, like none of these like big events are the things that stick out to me as my memories. Like I'm sure that I went to amusement parks and science museums, and I'm sure we did like overnight trips places, but like those aren't the ones that like I really remember. Like if you ask me to like what was your childhood summer like, I think about, crabbing, with my friends, or like I have like vivid memories of like being with my neighbors, sitting on the grass, like looking up and like saying what the clouds were. Or we had a really good friends and we got to sleep out on the trampoline at night sometimes, and we probably woke up like covered in mosquitoes. Like those are the things that I remember most vividly from my childhood. And so I try to think about that a lot. And I'm like, I mean, I want my children to have those same memories. And in order to do that, I almost have to do the opposite and like step back and like not overplan and not give them too much stuff, because it's their chance to go out and like make those memories. So I think about that. I mean, summer can be stressful for me just because all of the kids are home. I'm still working through the summer. So like it's not like I'm just off to be able to be like their fun director. So it's navigating that. Like I remember last summer, like the laundry gets way ahead of me and the house is just dirtier and my neighbor's dogs are barking so loud. I don't know if you can hear that. So that part is sort of stressful, and I have to like take a step back from that a little bit and just like let it be messier and let it be whatever.
Kallie, you made me think. I was putting something in Martha's my she'll be 8th grade next year. I was putting something in her room and I noticed on her corkboard that she and her best friend had put together a bucket list, a summer bucket list. And I won't read it all. First of all, there's not anywhere on it. It isn't like a week to the beach or a week. It's trampoline sleepover is one of them. It's like beach volleyball, a 2-day sleepover, watch the sunset on the beach, paint shoes. I mean, it's so basic, and it was such wonderful insight into like I can co-sign on every single one of these. Like there's nothing here that is overly extravagant. And this is like they came up with this idea. They did it all on their own. So it's a nice reminder that like your kids don't need the big stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like by allowing ourselves to like step back from the big stuff, we're allowing them to have those memories, where if we were like packing their time with all of this stuff, then they would have that stuff, which is great. But yeah, I feel like they'd be missing some of the other watching the sunset on the beach.
Yeah.
I love that. Megan, what do you think about the perfect
Okay.
summer?
So I want to start off with this whole like we only have 18 summers with our kids.
Oh.
Okay. That is BS, okay? For the birds, because let me tell you something. I am still at my parents' house, at their
Same.
beach house, trashing their house, and I'm 43. So there's no 18 summers. That does not apply. Whoever made that up and then, oh, we have to just jam pack all these things and we only have
Yeah.
this much time with them. Nah.
They came up with the live, laugh, love signs too. We're not into those
Yeah.
people.
No.
Yeah. Or what's the one in the kitchen that some people have over there?
Gather.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do have to say personally, I definitely feel like I put stress on myself to, those summer bucket lists that are out on social media or you get it emailed, or I definitely in the past, I feel like I put stress on myself to make sure you go to amusement park and make sure you have an ice cream night. But now that I feel like, my kids are getting older and teens, it's like they want to spend time with their friends too, which I don't know if that makes it easier or harder, because then you have to like implement like we need family time too. But then, yeah, same thing. You get into the sports. We have one that plays travel sports in our house. And then you open up the can of worms of camps. And Nico, my youngest, he doesn't like to go all day. He only likes to go half day, and then we go to the town pool. And then one does like to do sleepaway camp, and that's pricey. So, we said to her, like, her friends go for 5 and 8 weeks. I said, you could go for 2. So it's just a lot of different moving parts. But I feel like going to the beach, having that just those days you wake up and you have nothing to do too. Like I try to have a few weeks where there's nothing scheduled. So you kind of just roll with the punches. And those are probably the best days too. Like a friend will text you at like 4:00. Hey, you want to meet at the park and I'll bring this. Can you bring that? And you throw the Frisbee and you're there for like hours. So it's like when there's no plans, I feel like sometimes those are when like the core memories are made that you will remember forever.
We've just entered the phase, and it's a little bit on my mind, where I have a couple of older kids that they don't need a job for financial reasons quite yet, but I would like to plant the seed of being somewhat responsible. And it's hard to know where that lands and how far to push them. So with my oldest in particular, who's 16, I don't think she can get a job just because she's not around enough, but I also want to I don't want her just to be sitting around like doing her 2 weeks of camp and then nothing else. So
Yes.
that's factoring in a little bit too, is like, how can I get her involved? And maybe it's volunteer work, but let's be honest, I'll have to find something for her because, how would she
Yeah.
know? So that's another layer of our summer now that my kids are a little bit older.
Yeah, no, you're right, Charlotte. I did make a note of that too because my oldest is 15 and we've been at different places where they're like, oh, she can work here when she turns this or the snack bar or there's like a town camp. But yeah, she has to be a certain age to get paid. And then, yeah, we're kind of at that in between stage where babysitting is obviously always a
Right.
go to. So they do two of my girls do that, which is good because you're not just gonna sit on your phone and say I'm bored after camp.
We have our kids obviously are not we're not there yet, but we have neighbors who have high school age children. And I don't know obviously exactly how the dynamic works over there, but they have told us that if one of the kids doesn't have a job or like a volunteer opportunity that week, then it's their job to mow the lawn. And they just have this like pretty big lawn and like a push mower. So I feel like it's the motivation to get something, or you're the one out there. And we've seen each of the children mowing the lawn at some point. So
Yep, that's funny. I have a couple kids that will happily do that. My oldest will not. I've encouraged her to just take the little dog to the end of the street, and that counts for me.
yeah.
I'm hoping that she will put together like 2 hours of just like crafty activities and maybe a read aloud. There's a handful of like 5 and under kids on our block, and all of those moms have said anecdotally that especially in the afternoons when their morning camps are over, they would love a couple of hours to kill.
Yeah.
That said, I don't wanna run the camp, and I don't wanna tell her how to run it, so it's like that fine line between she's indicated she's interested, but because she's not home with us, it's hard to, get her involved because she's doing schoolwork and stuff, but I think she could manage that, and, like, 1 day a week to do a couple
Yeah.
that's all I need.
Our dog walker neighbor asked if when the kids are home this summer if they want to walk their dog.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't
one.
know.
Well, I
One of Oliver's friends got, like, a car washing kit. I don't know what that means. It's probably, like, a brush and a chamois, and they
Yeah.
would just go door to door and be like, "You want us to wash
Wash
your
your car.
car?" So that we'll get there, but that's what's on my mind this summer more than it was last summer, is how can I get them being a little more productive in that regard?
Something that I thought about, I feel like just a little earlier when we were talking about all the activities with the kids. And I feel like a lot of us, we have like this pressure because we're like, this is our kids' childhood, right? We're like crafting this childhood for them. But sometimes I'm like, this is also like my motherhood. And I remember like when I think back for last summer, like one of my favorite memories from last summer as a family is that we have this little ice cream place. Megan knows, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give away exactly where we live. But this little ice cream place. And like I remember a couple of nights after dinner and we surprised the kids and we're like, we're going to go get ice cream, which for my kids is like a big thing. We don't go out right after dinner. Like we have little kids and go out and get ice cream. And so I think about that too. I'm like, it is their childhood. And obviously, I want to craft a nice childhood for them. But it's my motherhood and like my memories raising my children too. So I feel like I don't want to spend the whole time just lugging them around to different camps and activities too. So I don't know if that gives anybody else permission.
that goes along with the idea of, we all talk about this um, heavy mental load that we carry. Well, there's the burnout that comes along with over planning and over scheduling, or just planning and scheduling in general. And so, as we're preparing for summer and you have your bucket list and your camp schedule and your babysitting and your time off from work is this week, and there's so much that it's, then you're just burnt out. And how are you going to even enjoy all these moments when you're just trying to figure out where you're going next?
You have to put your air mask on first, Caitlin.
First.
Always. I think it's hard for a lot of parents who see or talk to other parents that say, oh, what are you guys doing this week? Oh, well, I'm going into the city and we're going to check out the slime museum, and then we're going to go to Central Park, and then next week we're going to go to another city, and that just makes me hot and tired, and I don't want to do any of that. I want to set up the sprinkler in my backyard and let my kids just ruin the lawn.
Yep.
And that makes me happy.
One of the things on Martha's list, I didn't know what it was. It's called like trash bagging or something. And so what it means is when it's rainy out, you know this,
Seen
Megan, they
this,
put
yeah.
on trash bags, they just cover themselves with soap and they just go sliding around.
I
We
love
did
I
it.
that.
want to do it.
Right?
We did that in
Yeah.
college, actually. There was a hurricane that came through Tennessee, and we had a hurricane party, and everyone had trash bags and Dawn soap and just went crazy down the hill.
So there you go.
I'd be interested.
Some environmentalist somewhere is like, don't put Dawn dish soap out in the grass.
100%.
gosh.
Dawn kills weeds, so it kind of can help your lawn. But
But it also
Okay.
cleans all the oil off of those poor little ducks.
yes, yes. So if you're listening to this and feeling like you are in the you're not one of us and you've overplanned, you know, personal advice right here, just maybe erase half of that calendar and leave some blank
Slowly
spots.
back out of the room and
Yeah.
Which I feel like if you're somebody who is a planner, that can feel really scary to some people. I mean, if you're used to planning all your time with your kids and then to be like, what do you mean we're just supposed to be home all week with nothing to do? I mean, that to some parents that are used to planning, but I can assure you that once you do it, it's not so
it'll
bad.
work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's me, Callie. I feel like even with, the summer and also when it's not summer with the weekends, I sometimes overplan. And then when they don't have something, it's like, what are we even gonna do? Like, and I'm like, well, there's plenty of things in, the home that you could play with crafts or maybe go walk to, your friend's house or yeah, just be a kid. But it's true. Sometimes, and it's good for them to do that too. The
Yes.
slow summer days are really important for the kids to learn to be bored and find stuff to do. And yeah,
I mean, my childhood, other than the one or two trips that we may go on, my mom worked, and I think my aunt babysat me, and my dad was working, and I hung out with my cousins, and maybe we swam in a pool, maybe we went to the beach, but there were no day trips. There were no, we didn't do a lot. One thing I will say that I would like to do this summer is I want to go to the drive-in. I've been saying it every summer and I never get there. I feel like Arbor maybe finally can go to a drive-in if there's a good movie playing, but Southington has a drive-in which is really close to me, and they always have such a great movie list, and I do remember doing that as a kid, and it was always really cool.
I went to that one as a kid, Caitlin. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you're picking that for you, not for your kids.
Right.
I mean, not
Yes,
that we want to enjoy
Callie.
it, but
Yeah, it's my
Yes.
mom's summer moment.
yeah, that's right.
And if they don't like it, oh well. You enjoy it. Yeah. Like Charlotte. Just make them sit there and watch the movie.
We're going to actually take a quick break and talk to a guest. And then we're going to come back, and I have a quick question for everybody about summer. Today on the show, we're joined by someone who just gets what it's like to be a mom trying to do all the things, especially in the chaos of summer. Michelle Grosser is a certified trauma-informed life coach, nervous system expert, host of Alive and Well podcast, formerly known as the Calm Mom podcast, and mom of two. She helps women move from burnout and overwhelm into peace and purpose. And she does it in a way that's both deeply practical and totally approachable. I'm so excited to have her here that I can't even speak, which maybe she can explain to me that it's my nervous system is in overdrive. But thank you so much for being here, Michelle. I'm really excited. Your podcast, I don't think I could have found it at a better time in my life because I am the queen of being overstimulated and overwhelmed. And your episode that just came out about morning anxiety, like I just passed it along to my sisters who are always freaking out with their kids in the morning. And we're going to try some of the tricks that you said to do in that episode.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. But anyways, thank you so much for being here. This episode is about just having the perfect summer and the stress that moms feel from all different areas of having the perfect summer. And perhaps you have felt it before. Maybe you still feel it
Yeah.
now, even though you're so in tune with trying to avoid all of that. But I would, first of all, I guess, like to know, have you ever felt this way before? And why do you think moms feel this intense obligation to maximize summer with their children?
Yeah, I've definitely felt it. And I feel it. And even this year, like we moved last summer from Miami to Houston, and with the whole move and everything, we got here after the school year had started. So long story short, we decided to homeschool for a year and try it out. So that like I've been with my kids all year long. So like transitioning to summer is different. We've never done it like this before, and I still feel this like weird pressure to do all these things, even though nothing really has changed in our day to day. So yeah, I felt it when they were going to school Monday through Friday and then home for the summer. I felt it when they were doing summer camps, when they weren't doing summer camps, and then I still feel it now. And I think there's a few reasons why I think that comes up. I think one of the things is that, especially with summer and with time, right? I think
Hmm.
a lot of times when we talk about having a scarcity mindset, we're usually talking about like finances or money or, abundance in that sense. But I think so often, and I catch myself, it's funny because every month I put a new screensaver on my phone.
Hmm.
And this month I just have this like beautiful picture, and all it says is there is plenty. And I think we can get in this scarcity mindset about time, right? It's like, I only have like 8 weeks or 10 weeks with my kids, and we're going to do all this stuff. And like, I have all these plans, and I don't want this to pass. And then school starts again, and we didn't do all the things and make all the memories. And we can find ourselves really getting stuck in this scarcity mindset around time or memories or whatever it is when there's plenty. So that kind of drives some of it. And then I think, all the things comparison, right?
Right.
Everyone, you go on Instagram, everyone's showing their perfect beach vacation and what they're doing
Hmm.
for July 4th. And, and I'm like, ugh, like, that's great. And I only post mine too. So I get it. Like, I'm not gonna tell them. No one sees on Tuesday when everyone's in their pajamas at noon. And I'm like trying to get work done, and my kids are just watching TV. But that's real too. So I think those are probably two of the biggest drivers. And I think we also put a lot of pressure on ourselves to make sure that our kids have a happy, memorable, joyful summer. So that's a lot of weight to carry also, to try to be that like thermostat all summer long and make sure everyone's good. When that's not necessarily how real life works.
Yeah, I love that screensaver you just said. I need to get one of these for myself. And you said that's a huge weight to carry, is I'm responsible for their amazing summer. And I think a lot of moms totally can feel that. I envy the mom who says, well, I'm not, I totally am not responsible. You guys figure it out on your own. But it's very hard. What are some subtle signs a mom could ignore that their nervous system is overloaded during summer,
Hmm.
during this heavy time where you're just trying to do it all? And what's a simple first step to reset?
Okay, so good. So generally, when we're starting to feel dysregulated in our nervous system, our body will communicate that to us. So it's always sending these, we call them somatic cues, always kind of sending messages to us. Um, One, we're usually just running at the speed of life, and we don't even notice, right, what our body is saying. We'll notice, like, oh man, like I have this pain in my neck or this tension in my shoulders, but I've had it forever, right? And we just kind of keep going. Or I think culturally, we're just so conditioned to like kill the messenger, frankly, instead of listen to the message. And we'll pop an Advil, or we'll, push through it or what have you, instead of stopping to listen. So I think some of the somatic cues that our body will tell us, like, hey, something's going on here, is
Yeah.
it might look like chronic muscle tension, aches and pains. It might look like a lot of women will tend to clench their jaw. So if you're someone who tends to wake
That's
up in the morning,
me.
yep, me too. Um, Jaw is clenched, or even you're listening right now and your tongue is pressed to the roof of your mouth. That could be a somatic cue. Maybe it's gut issues. Maybe you've had chronic autoimmune conditions that can kind of show up, migraines, headaches, all these different physical symptoms. But then there are also like emotional and mental symptoms that were becoming dysregulated. So maybe for you, especially over the summer, kids home all the time, or just a different, pace and schedule. Maybe you notice that you're becoming overstimulated
Mm,
really easily, right? Like
yes.
maybe midday and you're like, everyone like dim the lights, turn off all the noises, stop asking me questions, right? And just feeling like there's too much coming at you. That's a really common sign we're dysregulated. Even just like an irritability or an edginess, like you find yourself kind of short or
Yeah.
snappy, and it's not anything in particular, right? It's just like the day to day, but your bandwidth is just kind of shrunk because of everything that's going on. So it's kind of easier for you to get to that place where it feels like too much and you're feeling a little snappy, you're kind of simmering. Those are all signs, I think, pretty
And
common during the summer. Yeah.
I mean, I think I just checked off all of those for this morning with my toddler. Do you have any advice on how you could reset? You're in that state of chaos.
Yeah.
You're feeling all of that,
Mhm.
It's almost you just suddenly have this awareness that I'm I'm not my best self right now.
Yep.
Do you have any tips on how to reset?
For sure. So I think that awareness, like you just said, is the first part, right? Just noticing like, whoa, so I need something right now, right? Something doesn't feel right. And then I guess a little part of it is just understanding how our nervous system works. So when we study the nerves in our body and the ways in which they send messages, only 20% of the nerves in our body send messages from our brain down to our body. So things like mindset, affirmations, right? Just like trying to talk ourselves down, helpful. But again, only the 20% of what's going on in your body. The other 80% is that your body is sending messages up to your brain. So if your body feels really tense, if your body is, if your breathing is really shallow and quick, if you're clenching, your fists, or if your heart rate is up, all of those signals from your body are sending messages up to your brain, 80% of that messaging saying, hey, something's going on here. We're under stress, or something threatening is happening, and we feel dysregulated. So we want to have body-based tools to help us to reset. It's not so much like telling yourself to calm down or get it together, right? Like that
Yeah.
doesn't work.
No.
We have to get into our body, and our body doesn't understand words. It just doesn't communicate in a verbal language. So we have to communicate, hey, we're okay, stand down, right, to our body in a way that it understands. So that's through movement,
Mhm.
temperature, sound, touch that feels really soothing and calming. So breath. So you want to have tools like that. So, I mean, summertime is such a great time. Like get outside, get in water, right? Whether
Yeah.
that's like jumping in a pool or water balloons or throwing your kids in the bathtub, like water for even for yourself, taking a bath or a shower can be really soothing. Going to the beach, focusing on some breath work, some really simple breath work. My favorite one to reset takes like 15 seconds, but it's called a physiological sigh. You can do this anywhere. And the way that it works is you breathe in through your nose until it feels like your lungs are full. So, and then right at the top, you do one more quick breath and then out through your mouth really slow. Yeah. Let's try it
Oh.
together one more time. So in through your nose. At the top, one more quick sip. Yep. And out through your mouth. And that, you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have done there was a yoga instructor who would do that at the end of class sometimes. And I felt like it was just like, okay, and now we're done. And
It's
I would
so good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I need to do this more often in my normal everyday life and not just
Yes. And I do, because it's so effective and it's so quick. And I'll even tell my kids, like, all right, everyone stop 30 seconds, everyone breathe. And then they'll do exactly that. Such a quick reset. And then another thing that I really like for the summer, especially too, is that our vagus nerve, which is our body's like primary calming mechanism, runs from our brain stem down through, right, both sides of our neck to all of our major organs. And we can activate it through temperature. So like, man, if you're feeling yourself getting activated, I go to my freezer, I grab a bag of frozen, whatever I have, fruit, vegetables, and I'll just hold it on the back of my neck while I breathe for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds. And just that, it does the same thing. It's like, it's a reset and then it's okay. But yeah, so the big, I guess, picture thing is like, get out of your head, stop thinking about it, guilt tripping yourself, right? Letting the stories go and get into your body. Dance party, right? That's probably one of the best things you can do. Shake it out, put on some music, everybody wiggle around. And I promise you, in what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, all like the whole energy will have shifted. And that's because your nervous system has responded and has shifted state.
I love that. I wish I was taking notes right now, but I'm just going to listen to this again and do that later. So I just have one more question for
Sure.
you. You've mentioned on your podcast how expectations lead to burnout. So there's the
Mm,
whole internet thing that I have actually mocked myself about. Moms only have 18 summers with their
yeah.
children. What would you say to a mom who feels like she's already messing up her summer by week 2?
Mhm. Yeah, that's so good. And this is something that I remind myself of a lot too, especially like homeschooling was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life this year. And like I went to law school. I passed the Florida bar. I've done some hard things. It was the hardest thing. And I think it relates a lot to summer because I in my mind had like, I'm gonna plan all these beautiful excursions and crafts and we're gonna sit on the couch and have tea time and read books together. And it's like, no, it's not that wasn't how it was
Not
at
happening.
all. And I had to keep reminding myself that to my kids, and they're 6 and 8, and even whatever age your kids are, my presence is more powerful than my plans. And I would tell myself that every time I felt like I had planned something and I was disappointed by how it had turned out, or I hadn't planned something and I had wanted to plan something. And it's just so true, right? My kids, like, even if I think back to the summers I had with my family, it's like, I don't really remember the things that we did, but I do remember, like, I don't know, making s'mores on the grill like and just
Yeah.
like my parents being around or the conversations that we had or just like snuggling in a rainstorm and reading books together, like the moments where I had their undivided attention and their presence. And I do a lot of work with moms and women around control. And when it comes to control, it's so interesting because as human beings, we're wired, all of us, fundamental need first and foremost for safety. And then, second, we're wired for love, acceptance, and approval. And when we feel like either of those is lacking, subconsciously, we resort to control and try to control things. I'm not safe. Or, I'm going to be like not loved and rejected. I'm going to try to control everything. And I say that to say that ultimately, if you think about, like, and I do this with my clients, if you go through the first, I don't know, 25 years of your life in like 5-year increments and bring up your best memory, it's always a time where you felt really secure and really loved. And the inverse is also true. Your worst memory isn't like, mom forgot to bring us to the beach all summer. It's a time where you felt unsafe or
Mhm.
unloved. And so, like, I just remind myself of that. I'm like, man, if my kids feel really safe and really loved today and have moments of my undivided attention, that's it. It's like they're going to
Yeah.
remember that. It's all that they need. So, yes, we're going to plan some stuff and it's going to be fun and we're going to do some things. But just, questioning the narrative, only 18 summers, is that true? No, of course it's not true, right? Um,
No.
and reminding myself of what is true. Can I be present with them for a block today and make some memories that way without any plan needed? That's really what they need. And that's really what's going to make them memory.
I I love everything you have said. I am just so excited for our guests to hear your advice and your tips, and they need to listen to your show because it almost, like what you just said right now, is so easy to do
Yeah.
and so easy to implement. It's not, you're not telling people to make some crazy changes. You're not saying to de-stress and reset, you need to go do buy this and leave your house. It's like, no, get a bag of peas and put it on the back of your neck. and cool your body down.
Yeah.
So I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You are amazing, and I
Mhm.
feel calmer talking to you right now.
Oh, what a gift. Thank you so much for having me. It was such a joy. You make it so easy, so good.
Favorite summer movie? I asked this last year to you guys, and I remember everyone was kind of like, huh. So it
Oh, I've
doesn't
got a
have to,
list.
just a movie that makes you think of summer. Something from either your childhood or now. What
I
you
mean,
got?
Me
Dazed and Confused is the first one that came to mind right now. Also, that movie Summer Catch with Jessica Biel and
Oh,
is it
yes,
Frankie?
Charlotte.
What's his face?
Mine is The Great Outdoors, Jaws, The Goonies.
The Sandlot, Now and Then. I thought I had a third. Sandlot and Now and Then.
What is that one? Beverly Hills Troop?
Troop
Yes,
Beverly
True
Hills.
Beverly Hills.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just remember always watching it with my cousins, and then like we would try to be them and like go outside in the yard and like try to like get worms out of the grass, like because they like did all that. Yeah, that one is the only one that really I feel like.
Well, you guys should come on and come see us on social media and tell us your favorite summer movie. Maybe we can come up with a list for people, because I feel like
Oh, that'd be
everybody
fun.
always, then you can
Yeah,
have your own little movie night with your
yeah.
family.
Or for those rainy days when the kids are whining, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
low key. So we are closing out our episode with some pits and peaks. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to share?
I'll do my peak is that our patio is finally done. When we moved into this house, it's just like a lawn. Like there's nothing, not even a nice lawn, just kind of dirt kind of. So that was one of mine. I was like, I need a place just to like put a chair. And I didn't realize how extensive putting in a patio. We also had to bury propane tanks, but like I didn't realize how much digging and gravel and rock. Like I thought that it was like a week and they put in a patio. It was not. So it's finally done, and that is wonderful. So I have somewhere to put it. I don't own really any patio furniture, so it's like a camping chair, but whatever.
It works.
Because
Charlotte.
patio furniture is so expensive.
I haven't done it yet, but it's been a while since I've had an opportunity to do like a design project just because I don't know, our house isn't enormous and I've done all the spaces, but our sunroom has two sort of seating areas. One is a table and chairs, and that's going to stay and it's fine and we use it. And the other is like a coffee table, and there's four chairs around it. And in theory, they're great, but they're always like cockeyed or crooked or like pulling the rug back. So, like, in essence, it works, but in reality, it's just I'm always shifting them. And so I'm going to try something new. I'm going to bring in like a love seat, a couple chairs. I'm going to build. I found a coffee table or like a wooden bench on Facebook Marketplace that was perfect, but he sold it. But I took a screen grab of the listing, so I'm trying to make it. And there's nothing that makes me more excited than like trying to pull together a little space. So it hasn't happened, but I've ordered a couple things and I don't know, just makes me happy.
I love that. Well, I have a peak, and we finally got our broken fridge out of our unfinished side of our basement. That's been broken for 9 months and was taking up way too much space when there's not enough space at all. And I found a guy who brought two of his friends and lugged, it was 360 pounds. He said 360-pound fridge out of our basement.
Feels so good.
So good. Megan, what about you?
Okay, so I have a pit, and you know how I like to try all the fun stuff on social media, like
Yes.
the lip stain and all that great stuff. So have you seen the viral ice cream that you can make in the dryer? In your like dryer, like okay.
No,
So I got it and I
no.
tried it and it didn't really work for us. Maybe I did it wrong, the ingredients, but like, you know me, I
Wait, isn't a dryer hot?
Yeah, the
you
math isn't
so you
mathing.
like all the ingredients you prepare on your counter in your kitchen,
Hmm.
and then you set it through the dryer for a certain amount of time,
In
and it was
what?
in a like sealed, it's like a sealed like
Oh,
packet
Is
in
there
the
a not
dryer.
heat setting on the dryer? Like, I get that you're going for the agitation. Is there a setting on your dryer with no heat? There must be.
You can turn
Yes.
it way down. Yes,
Okay.
tumble
So
dry.
I can like, if you next time if, you want me to like, like with the leather jacket, I could bring the product next time.
I think on this one, Megan, we're good.
Okay.
I think
So don't order the viral ice cream that you can make in the dryer is all that I'm saying. Okay. It did not. Yeah. It was in like a sealed, almost like a microwave safe, like type of packet
What
thing
if it
that would,
exploded? It would ruin your dryer.
I mean, yeah, it
it's a
probably would have.
risky.
It had like a zipper, but yeah.
This is just
So
one of those things to me where it's like, when you see like the life hacks and you're just like, that's 8 times harder than just doing it the way that it should be done.
Convenience illusion. Isn't that what you
Yes.
called it?
That is what I
Yes.
call it.
or like Callie labeling like the carrots. No, the carrots
Yeah.
just go in. They're gonna stay in
The
the carrot
vegetables.
bag from the market. They're not gonna be labeled.
But Megan, that's why we like you, is because
I
you
know.
always
Well,
try the
and
random
I feel
crap.
like it's like a pressure. I gotta keep this cool
Yeah.
stuff going, and I'm going to. So get ready.
But so
I
far,
just want
none
to
of
be
it's
on
been
Megan's
cool.
TikTok or wherever you're getting. She'll be like, that viral, and it's like never.
Never heard it.
No, and you've not brought anything that we want yet.
I know. Oh yeah.
Maybe
Well,
we could start making you a list of the
Yeah.
things we want you to test.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Or like the before you go to bed at night,
Lip
um,
mask.
the lip
You-
mask, and I
you
was
like
like, I don't
that.
really love mine,
Oh.
but there's like a better one, and
Yeah.
so
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
that's my pet.
Sorry.
well, I
That
was
sounds frustrating.
for 2 seconds. I thought I was gonna show you guys what I think I'm gonna wear in my dance recital, because I needed to show someone my 90s grunge costume that I made up, but the stuff didn't come, and then I remembered nobody might watch this, and so instead I told
put
you
it
about
on
the
social.
fridge. Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll share it.
Well, all right. Well, thank you for listening. Stop trying to have a perfect summer and just, relax.
Just go have an
and-
okay summer, guys. Just
Yeah.
have an okay-ish summer.
Put some
Mhm.
ice cream in your dryer and just
YOLO.
have a mediocre
If
summer.
you are bored, order the ice cream you can make in the dryer. At least it'll be a fail, and everyone will laugh, and they'll remember it forever.
Or
and you can
don't,
spend hours cleaning your dryer.
and don't waste your money.
Can you imagine it in the lint trap? Oh.
Oh, that's all I just kept picturing was milk, hot milk.
The things I planned, the things I would say now I get ready.